Aloha and good morning, everybody. Well, I thought it was about time we did an update. On the last video, we just put the trusses up on the roof and not even got them all tied together or anything. We just sort of had them all sitting up there roughly, I think. And in the last couple of weeks, we have got the sheathing put on the roof. We've got some underlayment on it that's waterproof and done a whole lot of other work. It's just been really rough physically. We decided to do sheathing on top of the trusses with 5/8 inch. And one of the things that's kind of particular about Hawaii is all of our wood here, if it's structural, has to be borate treated. I've probably mentioned that in the past video. And what that really means is they haul plywood from the mainland, and then they have treatment facilities here locally where they take the wood and they literally soak it somehow in borate. So whenever you buy it, you get these sheets of wood and they're completely wet. So if you buy, 25 sheets of plywood, the top layer and the bottom layer will be somewhat dry, and every other sheet is absolutely soaked. And there's other problems with that too. Because the stuff's so wet, it's really common to get sheets that already have like a white mold on them or things like that. And not only that, they're just really heavy, which normally matters because you're hauling them around, but it really matters when you start to put this stuff all up on a roof. So the way I did the roof was, got them on the roof was, something I picked up off the internet, and well, kind of a version of what I saw on the internet, where I made a rack and you kind of pick the things up and you put them on a lower level and then you pick them up on a higher level and then you climb up on the roof and you pull them the rest of the way on the roof. And that doesn't sound too bad if you got to do 5 of them, but we got about 120 sheets on this roof, which is an awful lot of work. And then I had Cy, guy that's been helping me every now and then, nail off the roof and things like that. And then we ended up putting an underlayment on it too, up above. And so the underlayment we used is blue stuff. It's called Palisade. It was just recommended locally. One of the really cool things about it is it's the surface that's on it. You can let it sit up there exposed to UV rays for 6 months if you want to. And it's got really good traction if there's any wet weather, which is extremely important in Hawaii. To give you an idea, I mean, I've told you we get rain all the time today. One of the reasons why I'm doing a video today is because it's a Friday, but it's a little bit slower day. I'm waiting for a gravel truck to show up and give me a load of gravel so I can start filling in the lanai and the carport and get ready, prep for concrete in these areas. But we got a massive storm coming at us, but it's what's called normally storms come from the east and northeast and hit the island, and that impacts us here on the Hamakua coast a lot. This storm is what they call the Kona low, so it actually comes from the other side of the island. So it hits Kona. Kona normally gets, 10, 15 inches of rain a year, something like that, where here we get 120 to 160. But this is one where they're getting walloped with rain and we aren't. Even at that, they have flood alerts for the whole island. In probably a 2-day period, we'll get 5 inches of rain or something like that here in Hilo, and they'll probably get more over in Kona. We'll see how it all works. It's very hard to predict this stuff, and the way the storms interact with the volcanoes on the island. Remember, the volcanoes are 13,000 feet. There's more than one of them on Big Island, so it's just very interesting sometimes how the storms hit us. So I'm shooting a video and hunkering down. It is an absolute pleasure because the roof's on and we have the underlayment on, which is waterproof, which means the house is waterproof. So we've spent a lot of time with the place just opened up with the breeze blowing through it, drying everything out, making sure that everything gets really dried out. It's interesting watching people and listening to folks who build houses on the mainland, and they're so worried about water being on the roofs or on the plywood or anything. And here, it's absolutely unavoidable. It's got to be a very rare house here that doesn't have the entire structure get rained on many, many times during the build, especially if you build it yourself, because you're going to do it slower. It's just going to take you more time. There's a house 1,000 feet away from me sitting there with the roof half done, and it's been raining so hard the last week, they haven't been able to do anything on it. And so they're making no progress, and it's just sitting there, and everything they put up in the air is getting dumped with rain. So it's just something you got to deal with in this environment. We are running around and spraying places that we think are susceptible to mold and things like that. with things that will kill mold. I won't go into that, but it is a step we're taking just because we want to be sure that we're not boxing mold into the house. And we're also just letting it sit for a little bit to try and get dried out. We do have plumbers coming. Hopefully next week. We'll see. That was their preliminary schedule. We'll see if they come next week or the following. We're starting to prep, like I said, areas here for concrete. Hopefully I'll get a load of gravel in today, and I'll probably need another one on top of that, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, there's still an awful lot of work to go. As far as framing goes, I mean, we're nearly done. With all the stuff I can do before the electrical and power and stuff get done. I haven't done all the blocking internal and stuff like that. I'll get around to that later. But we got internal shear walls are up, so we're required due to the earthquake zone we're in and the hurricane zone we're in, wind zone, I guess technically, to put have internal shear walls with plywood on them, spaced a certain distance apart required by code. So we've gotten that work most of the way done. We just have very little bit of that left to go. And then, yeah, like I said, it's exciting. The plumbers will get here. We've cut out some of the windows and plywood. We're a little concerned about security here, as we always are in every job site. So we've cut out some of the windows to get fresh air in here. And yet we've also put 2x4s over some of them. And the windows we've cut out generally are the high up ones. And, the place isn't what you'd call secure. You wouldn't want to leave anything really valuable laying around here. We're just trying to keep honest people out, I guess is a way to put it at this point, because there's not really anything what are they going to do? Come hack out a 2x4 or something? That's dumb. So, but we are worried about, like a homeless guy moving in or something like that, which can happen to you in Hawaii. So that's that. Well, I think I hear the dump truck coming to bring me my gravel, so we'll talk to you guys again in a little bit. Well, as you can see, the gravel got here. Couldn't get it quite as close to the building as I had hoped because we were worried about him hitting the overhang. And that shovel right there and that wheelbarrow right there is how it's all going to get moved out of the road. Already started piling it up here at the entryway. You can see what we're trying to do. We got these holes back behind the foundation need to be filled in, and that's the case for the lanai as well as the front porch. So we'll just shovel by shovel get her done. After working a few hours here, I managed to get, I don't know, I'll say half of that pile dug out here. I got everything that was out in the asphalt anyway, and I'll tell you, I'm not in shape for hauling rock all day, so I'm going to quit and call it a day. And I think that's where we'll wrap up this video too. I'll try and get it posted here in the next day or two, and we'll get another one going and we'll do something interesting. Aloha, goodbye everybody.